Have you ever realized that things in your ministry or leadership space only continue when you're involved? At first, it can feel like success. People come to you for answers. Things get done correctly when you step in. Everything runs more smoothly when you are close to it. But over time, what feels like effectiveness can quietly become something else, and that's dependency. Dependency. And leadership was never meant to create dependency. Let that sink in. Welcome to the Connect podcast. I'm Jennifer Spivey, and I founded the Connect Mentoring Network. This space is for women in ministerial leadership, pastors' wives, women who are leading in churches, organizations, in the marketplace, and everyday influence. This week on the blog and on the podcast, we're talking about a foundational leadership shift. The goal of leadership is not retention, it's release. Or, let me say it a different way, healthy leaders don't create followers, they create future leaders. Dependency rarely feels like a problem at first. In fact, it often feels like success. People come to you. They ask for your input. They wait on your decision to be made. Things don't move forward without you. But underneath that can be something that's much more serious, and that's underdeveloped leaders. It feels good to be needed. However, what we're creating here is bottlenecked systems, burnout waiting to happen, and a ceiling on growth that only exists because you are the central point of everything. And here's the hard truth. If everything depends on you, everything will eventually be limited by you. One of the most important leadership shifts that I think you will ever make is this: moving from being a needed leader to becoming a multiplying leader. Because being needed feels valuable in the moment, right? It feels important. It feels affirming, but it's not sustainable. Multiplying leadership asks a different question. The question is, am I building people who can lead without me? If the answer to that question is no, then leadership has not fully done its work yet. When we look at Jesus, we don't see a leader who built dependency. We see a leadership who intentionally moved toward release. In John 14 through 16, Jesus begins preparing his disciples for a major transition. He says, I am going away. He says, you will do greater works. He tells them the helper will come. Jesus isn't trying to keep himself at the center of their functioning. He is intentionally shifting them toward dependence on the Holy Spirit. So if the work was only going to be done while Jesus was here, the work would have stopped. So even earlier, we see this pattern. Jesus sent out the disciples in Luke 9. He sends them out again in Luke 10. He gives them authority. He gives them responsibility. Jesus is consistently building capacity in them, not attachment to him. They were able to minister apart from Jesus, not apart from the relationship with Jesus. This is important. So Jesus didn't build a ministry that required his physical presence to continue. He built a kingdom that would multiply through others. That's not disengagement. That's intentional leadership design. If this conversation is helping you rethink leadership, would you take a moment to follow or subscribe to the podcast? And if you're watching on YouTube, feel free to like, comment, and share this with another leader who's building teams or serving in ministry. It just helps us reach more women in leadership and ministry spaces. So leadership maturity requires a shift in how we measure success. So here's the old mindset. If I'm not involved, it won't be done correctly. But the new mindset is this: if I'm always involved, it won't be done without me. That's an important distinction. Here's the old success metric, is how essential I am. But the new success metric is how equipped others are. So that shift changes everything, because leadership is not about how central you are to the organization or to the space. It's about how capable others become under your leadership. Jesus said in John 14:12, "He who believes in me, the works that I do, he will do also, and greater works than these he will do." This isn't just a promise of empowerment, it's a blueprint for multiplication. Jesus is measuring success not by how close people stay to him physically, but how far his work continues through them. That's leadership release. If this topic is resonating with you, I want to invite you to go deeper inside Connect Mentoring Network, www.connectmentoringnetwork.org. We offer mentoring, leadership development, and courses designed specifically for women in ministry and leadership spaces. One of those courses is How to Build Leaders Who Don't Need You, where we go much deeper into systems, delegation, emotional leadership maturity, and creating environments where others can grow and lead well. If you're leading a team or a ministry or even influencing others informally, this will help you build in a more sustainable, it'll help you build in a more sustainable way. And I'd love to walk alongside you in that. I want to tell you that healthy leadership doesn't ask, how do I stay needed? It asks, how do I release people well? Because leadership is not measured by how many people depend on you. It's measured by how many people are equipped because of you. As you go through your week, take a moment and reflect, where am I unintentionally centralizing leadership? Where is it that it all depends on me? And also ask yourself, who around me is ready to grow, but I might need to step back in order for them to step forward. We're always going to stay close to Jesus and stay close to his vision, but we don't need his physical presence here. We need to learn how to depend on the Holy Spirit. And that's the same thing you want to do with your team. As you're leading others, you also want to equip them to lead well without you in the room. For more resources, please visit connectmentoringnetwork.org. And until next time, I want to encourage you to lead with wisdom, release, and intention. And remember, healthy leadership creates leaders who don't need your constant presence, but who continue to grow because of your influence. Thanks again for joining me on the Connect podcast, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon.